Hi, I'm Chef Marco Barber from Gino's Trattoria, and today I'm going to show you one of our secrets in a restaurant. And my dad, if he was here right now, he'd probably be really upset, but he'd get over it anyway. This is one of my main guys, Juan. He's been with me 21 years. He started with me when he was a young kid, and he learned from me and my father. And now we're teaching him basically everything that we do here. He's working side by side with me, like I worked with my dad side by side. So what we're going to be doing today is this roasted veal bone Demi glaze. Most restaurants can't make this. It's a 7-hour process. It's very, very involved. And it's a secret to my restaurant. It makes me way better of a chef. It brings you to the next level. You can purchase this. It's never as good as anything homemade. So where we start is in this pot. It's like a chicken stock pot, basically. It's like making chicken soup. We have roasted veal bones. These roasted veal bones, we put them in an oven for about, how long?
Oh, let's see.
2 hours? For about 2 hours. We get them nice and burned and roasted. We take them out, put them in the pot. Then we put carrots, celery, and onions back in that thing. We put them in, roast them, and then we deglaze it with red wine. And then we take that out and we put that in the pot. So you have your celery, onions, carrots, secret ingredients that are roasting, and the bones in the pot, and all your spices. Now we add salt, pepper, parsley, tomatoes. Like, there's a lot of secrets that are going into that, which I'm not going to give away today, but we'll show you how we get it done. So then once we have everything in the pot, after it cooks for about 2, 3 hours, 4 hours combined, we fill it with water all the way to the top. And just like chicken soup, we start to simmer it. This has been simmering for 5 hours slowly to where it was here, to get to about down to here and even lower. And if it gets too low, I'll add some water, but I know the exact amount. And then what me and him do together, which I did this 13 years. My father wouldn't let nobody do this. I had to stand next to him twice a week, and he would mix, or I would mix, and he would put, and he always made a point that he wanted to do it with me. That's how important this was, that, you know, he didn't want me to do it by myself or with, you know, so it came out exactly right every time. So I can hear my dad talk to me right now as I'm doing this. So another component to this is this flour base. What this is, besides cooking for 3 hours with veal, this is another 4-hour process where we take olive oil, good olive oil, and we mix it with flour. We make a paste in a pot, a big pot, and we cook in the oven for about 4 hours at a high heat. It bakes, then it comes out really solid, and we take a hammer and other stuff, other kitchen tools, and we break it up, and we make as much as we can. See these little balls? We try and not get those, as a fine powder. So this is an olive oil flour mix that was baked, and we break it down. Now we're going to take this, the final step after this big process is to take this, and I know exactly how much, just by eye to consistency. We add it to it a little bit at a time, and he mixes it in, and not stop mixing, or else the bottom will burn and it'll come out really bad. So that's why usually I could do this by myself, but it comes out a lot better if you get 2 people to do this. And as he's doing this, he's mashing up the carrots, the celery, the onions. Everything's coming together, all the flavors and everything. This is the old-fashioned way of doing things that my dad started back in the 60s. You know, he taught us, and we've carried it on. Restaurants that used to do this, they just get away from it because they don't have somebody in the kitchen who's going to do this. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot easier to buy it, but it's never as good as if you make it. This brown sauce that's going to be made from this, we use in our chicken marsala franchise, pasta dishes. It's basically just to add flavor to every single one of my dishes. When I cook at home and I make sole reganata, I actually bring some of this home with me because you don't need it, but it makes your dishes come out that much better. So what's great about this is basically every time I make this, I think of my father. And all right, so what's great about this is that I took classes in the CIA after college. I went to college for computers, and then I did intensives in Italian, French. And the great part about this is I talk to CIA chefs who come out, and I cook with them, and they're making like these roux on the side because I show them this, and they're like, oh, yeah, you know, they never learned this in school. So I don't know if there's advanced classes to teach it, but there's so many that come out that don't know about this. And I'm just so grateful to my father for teaching me something like this that he learned back in the day in the 60s. And that just brings your dishes to the next level. We're going to jar this. We sell it at the restaurant for all the people who take my cooking classes. and they're like addicted to it. They come in, they cook, and then they use the brown sauce to make their marsala, and their kids go crazy. So now that they took my class, they all come in. We're gonna jar it one day, and we're gonna sell it too, as along with our marinara. And it's just something that is just great. I would have never learned something like this in school, I don't think. All right, so now it's done. You could see we added the flour, it's boiling. That's what we wanted, to bring it back to a boil, and it's nice and thick. All right, we don't want to get it too thin or too thick. He knows how the perfect consistency to it, so do I. So if it's too thin, I keep adding flour. If it's too thick, I'll add a touch of water if we messed up. We're gonna take this down now. Nice and hot. We're gonna get strainers and cheesecloths. We're gonna strain out the bones, the carrots, the celery. We're gonna mash it all together like a chicken stock. And you're gonna get this, a masterful creation, which we use this in chicken marsala, linguine, shrimp, and broccoli, every little dish here, sole reganata, just a touch, not overdo it, just a little bit, because it's got all your spices and flavors and really kicks up the dishes.